Focus Assignment Series. Today we're going to be talking about PA number 10, our multi-tool. So let's break this drawing down and let's see what we got to do today. So if we start down here at the tools, we'll see we need a center point circle, a tangent, a dimension tool, a line tool, and a trim tool. We're going to talk about this, this polygon up here in a second. Yes, you could draw it minimum with lines, but we're going to show you an easy way to do it with a polygon tool. When I put these tools down here, it's the bare minimum you need to know to understand how to draw this. So if you're like, well, I could have done it with this, or if you've seen my other drawings, you're like, well, I tried it this way. Cool, that's great. But bare minimum needed to be able to make this is using these 5 tools we have up here. So our question for the day is, what is the total area of the shape and what is the angle of A? So if we look here, what is our angle A? And obviously, what is the total area of the shape? And when I say total area, I mean without this circle, without this polygon. So kind of game plan, I think I'm going to start from this corner. We're going to move our way up. And I'll show you a cool trick here that you can use. We'll draw a line out. We'll go 14, up 3, over 3, up 4. Kind of draw our line and come over, and then we'll finish it off. So let's go into Onshape and let's get started. All right, so once we're in here, like always, let's start a sketch. This time we're going to start on the top plane. Hold down Shift and S on your keyboard, N to normalize that view, and P to hide those planes. So like I said, I want to start at that origin with the line tool. So I'm going to press L for line, and I am going to draw out to the side 14 inches. Zoom, there we go. I'm going to come up here, and we're going to go 3 inches up. And we'll go to the left 3 inches as well. I'm going to go up 4 inches. And now this is kind of where some people get tripped up on this design. I'm going to come up and just throw something straight up in the air. Now on my drawing, I did not give you a measurement. I didn't give you an angle, but I can still draw this whole thing because I gave you enough measurements to figure this out. So we're not going to type anything in. We're just going to go flat from here. Make sure we have a horizontal line that is 2.4. We're going to press enter. And then I'm going to press escape. Okay. So we zoom out. If we look, we have this shape, right? Yes, I called it multi-tool. Obviously, if you were to make this in real life, it's going to be a pretty big tool, being 14 inches across, but you could scale it down. You could do a bunch of different things. So from now, we're going to go from our origin where we started originally. And I'm going to click that point. I'm going to draw straight up. And I'm going to go up 10 inches. Okay. And now if we look here, I need to go this way. Okay. Now, a couple of things to notice before I get that far. I know that I need this point and this point to be horizontal to one another. So if we remember back to our constraints videos, if I select those 2 points and press H, it'll bring that down exactly where I need that to be. Okay. So now what I want to do, the reason I did that, I'm going to go back into my line tool. I can click my line, and some of you guys have probably realized this without even trying on accident. If I touch back to my point while I'm in the line tool, I'll get my arc tool. It's called line arc line. It's something that was in other drafting systems. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here and tell it that I need a radius of 2. Okay. So a couple of things I did there. I did that line point line. I'm going to undo really quick. From that point, I could have drawn a circle. Pop out. I could have done a 3-point circle. Could have said, hey, here, here, and then gone up and said radius of 2, so diameter of 4. But then I still have to come in and tell this point and this line to be horizontal to one another. And you'll see that'll lock in. Then I could come in and trim. But I think for what I like to do, like I said, it's doing that line arc line. So line, bam, over, tell it a radius of 2, and you'll see we have a black, fully defined shape. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, oh yeah, I can click here and then figure out my area. You're close, but it's going to be off. And when I do these tests, if you guys are my students or if your teacher is going to teach this to your classes, when I do my tests, I make it, you have to have that answer exact, I think, with a tolerance of like maybe a couple thousandths of an inch. But you got to be like right on it. So from here, now let's do some, let's go back into our drawing and we'll see what else we need to do. We'll go here and we'll see that we need to round this corner. Let me zoom in. To round that corner to a fillet of with a radius of 3. I need to add this circle here, and I need to add this polygon. Now, some of you guys are probably wondering, where the heck is this circle located? Well, if you've done my other drawings, you'll know that the radius, when I do that radius, it's going to give me a center point, and that's where I'm going to base that 3.2 inch diameter circle. If I come up here, we're going to do this polygon, and we'll talk about these polygons. But let's round those corners first. So let's go back to our drawing. First thing, we're going to do Shift and F to do a fillet. And what's cool is you can click the corner instead of clicking the line. And I need that to be a radius of 3. So I'll double click that, radius 3, enter. And you'll see now I get my center point. So from there, I'm going to press C for a center point circle. Click a circle here, 3.2, enter. We got that. And now we're going to tackle this polygon here. So if you follow me up to the top, you'll see we have a drop down that has 2 polygons. So if you don't know the difference, remember again, I have videos on this, but we have our inscribed polygon and our circumscribed polygon. So real quick, I'm going to pop out to the side and kind of show you the difference of this. I'm going to start with an inscribed polygon, and I'm going to make that guy, our dimension on our drawing says it needs to be 2, so I'm going to show you the difference. I need a 2-inch diameter inscribed polygon, and I'm also going to do it circumscribed right next to it. Same thing. It's not wanting to track right now. 6, we're going to do a 2-inch as well. And just to line things up, let's make that vertical. Let's make that vertical. All right. So we're not fully defined because it doesn't know where it lives in relationship to the origin. But if we take a look here really quick, you'll see that if I measure one side of my inscribed polygon, the circle is inside. If I measure one side of that, come on, there we go. I get 1.155 inches, where if I measure the side of my other one, I get 1 inch. So why is one bigger than the other? Well, if you look at these drawings, and actually if I'm going to take both of them and let me move this guy right on top, you will see that circle is the same size, but one is inside the circle and one is outside the circle. So the one that is inscribed means the circle, we can kind of look at our logos, our icons up here. Inscribed has a circle inside. So the bigger one is going to make, the bigger polygon is from an inscribed polygon. The smaller one, like we have out here, so this is a inscribed polygon, and the other one is circumscribed. So what is touching the points, or what is guiding that geometry? If that circle is guiding it, it's going to be circumscribed. If it's the outside shape is bigger, it's going to be inscribed. So what we want, based off our drawing, if we look, I want the circle to be on the outside with a dimension of 2 from each side. Okay. Go back here. one thing to note is I could just do this and dimension that as 2. If I get rid of that measurement, and then we end up with the same thing. One just has a circle. So if you're trying to match this print exactly, I know there's some of you guys out there that are like perfectionists and you have to have it exactly the way I did it. That's fine. But at the end of the day, if that slot, or if that shape, sorry, is the same, that'll work. So I went from side to side, but you'll notice that I actually needed to go from point to point. So I'm going to make that 2. We'll press enter, and now we are the same size. So a couple of things to pay attention to. Orientation of that shape. Am I using inscribed? Am I using circumscribed? Am I going from face to face? Am I going from point to point? So that's kind of where that would help. And you'll see if I were to do a dimension on that, I also have a diameter of 2 inches. So a couple things to pay attention to. A lot of times when I see mistakes on this drawing, it's because they used the wrong polygon, or they made it the wrong size, or they dimensioned from the wrong side. So what we're going to do again, we'll click that circumscribed polygon. I'm going to click here on my point, and in my drawing, switch really quick, switch tabs. In my drawing, you'll see that I have a flat top of that hexagon. Okay, how to do that? I can go out to the side and you'll see how it's tracking horizontally. Let's say on my drawing, I wanted you to have a point, the point of that polygon up. You would do the same thing, just vertically. So for what we're going to do, we're going to go here. I'm going to say, okay. I'm going to make that a diameter of 2 of that circle. And that should say that from this point to this point should be 2. And we have that there. So that is how you draw that shape. Now, I'm going to change some geometry really quick. Let's change that to like a 5. Let's change this to a 4. We'll drop this down to a 2.5. And we'll change this to 50. And we'll change this to just a 3 instead. All right. So I've changed that geometry. Now I'm going to show you where to find that answer. Okay. So if we look back at our drawing, again, what is the total area of the shape, and what is the angle of this piece marked A? If you pay attention, you'll see that I'm asking for this little quadrant here, not the whole angle, not this inside, but this chunk right here. So I'll show you how to find that. Let's go back to our drawing. What I'm going to do, and when I click my measurement, it's going to say show measure details. Move this guy out of the way. I need to click this line, obviously, but it's giving me a, let me bring that back really quick. Show measure details. I'm going to click that line, and it's telling me the length, which is cool, but I don't want to do that. I need to know the angle. Okay. Well, when we do this, we need to kind of move around, and it's telling me an angle of 122 degrees. Okay. Is that what I want? I'm looking for a radian degree. That's not going to work. I need 122 degrees, but if you notice, it's not where I clicked. So what I want to do, easy way to do it, is to use the dimension tool and just go ahead and add a dimension. So I'm going to click D for dimension. I'm going to click both lines, and that's not where I want it. That's showing me 237. So what I need to do is make sure I go over that other side, and you'll see once I click that, instead of typing something in, just go ahead and press escape and it'll give you that number. So this example, and remember, this is not the right answer, but this example shows 57.995 degrees. Again, not the right answer, but that's how you would find it. If I show you the same two lines, but I click underneath that line, you'll see I get 122, and I can do the same thing over here, and I get 237. So if you add all those three together, obviously that equals 360. But what I asked for on the print was this specific measurement, not here, not the 237, not the 122, but that 57, which again is the wrong answer. I'm telling you, do not put this on your packet. This is just how you would find it. In our last question, again, the other question was, what is the area of the shape? Real simple. You select it till it turns orange, and then follow down here. You'll see an area will pop up, and that's what you're going to type in on your test, write down on your packet. However your teacher or how you want to keep track of your answers, that's how you would go about doing it. So that's going to pretty much do it for this drawing. Another way, I'm going to delete all this. Another way you could draw this for that outside shape would be to kind of start with, and this is the mentality that a lot of people use, but you start with a rectangle from that origin, and we say we need 10 tall by 14 wide, and actually I need to swap those. So change this bottom one to 14, and then I can start coming in and kind of drawing the rest of this shape kind of like so. I could come in and dimension and say, hey, this needs to be 4 inches away. Oop, I forgot a line. So come up from here. Like so. Dimension this has to be 4 inches away. I'm going to tell this to be 2.4, this to be 4, this to be 3 away, and that to be 3. And then I can tell this point and this line to coincide with one another by pressing I. I can come in, use my arc from my line arc line tool, touch back on itself. Oh, it's not liking that too much right now. So if that's not going to work for you, you can use a 3-point arc, bam, bam. And since I already gave it that to measurement, it already knows. Come in and then round your corners, trim off your excess, and you end up with that same overall shape. So whatever works for you. I'm big on drawing lines and then kind of not having so much stuff overlap, because then that's more stuff I have to trim. So that's going to do it for us for this practice assignment number 10. Hope you guys are enjoying the packet. I know it's summertime right now, and some of you teachers, thank you guys again for coming to all my my sessions. If you guys were at CATA last week, I had a blast. Hope you guys learned something. And if you're still doing this and you're struggling, I gave most of you guys my number. Shoot me an email, shoot me a message on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. But I want to get you guys the help you guys need to get this thing done. So that's going to do it for me. I will see you guys next time. Take care.